Visions makes Star Wars exciting again. After a pretty lackluster series of shows that have felt kind of samey, Star Wars Visions is a gigantic breath of fresh air. The rules and norms for Star Wars are completely thrown out the window, which leads to some absolutely fascinating what-if scenarios. And with this, you can clearly tell just the sheer amount of love put into every episode, as each one really feels like somebody's dream Star Wars project. It's shown not just through the unique and creative visuals, how did we not put together anime and Star Wars yet, but also through the premises the show deals with. They're just so insane and fun. It's sort of like Star Wars' version of Marvel's What If series, but done even better. And sure, some will complain that it doesn't feel like Star Wars, but that's kind of the whole point. Instead of just dealing with the same basic character types during the same 3 time periods, Vision makes the Star Wars universe feel vast and unexplored. And if you can't enjoy the black and white samurai episode because you're too concerned with what it means for Star Wars as a whole, then I'm sorry, we can't be friends. It's okay to have fun, okay? And before I get into ranking the episodes, I thought I'd point out something that I think does a good job of showing why Visions is so awesome. From just the first few episodes, Visions makes it very clear it's not your typical Star Wars show by just how little it focuses on Jedi. Although Star Wars has been drifting away from only having Jedi as its main characters, it's still by and large the norm. Jedi are seen as superior, the true heroes of the universe, but Visions challenges this by having the first 2 protagonists sort of reject the Jedi Order in their own ways. In the first episode, our hero spends the whole time fighting a Sith to protect a village, only for it to later be revealed that he actually carries a red lightsaber. And in the second episode, Jay leaves the Jedi Order to become a singer in a rock band. And instead of using his lightsaber to get his friend back, as a Jedi would, he does it instead through the power of an awesome concert. Frankly, hell yeah, that episode is so much fun. Both of these characters challenge the idea that the Jedi are the ultimate force of good by showing how good things can be accomplished in other ways by other people. It's a really fascinating approach for a Star Wars show to take, and I think it reflects the overall thesis of the show. That being, let's just have fun and do something new. The sheer amount of different premises this show throws at you makes it endlessly engaging. One episode we're told the Sith are nearly extinct, next it's the Jedi who are in hiding. New and interesting characters fill each episode to the brim, and the fact that we don't get to spend much time with any of them makes each episode more engaging. Each episode really stays with you in a way that other Star Wars media just doesn't, which is only enhanced when you realize that the good guys don't always win. There are real stakes here. So I'm gonna rank them. They're all really cool, but here we are. Number 7, Akakiri. There's a whole lot of interesting character work in this one, and it uses its flashback scenes very well. Plus, it gets a ton of bonus points for that ending. Turning to the dark side to save someone else is always just an awesome concept. And a bold way to end Season 1. But it also felt way too long, which was weird since it was one of the shorter episodes. The travel scenes go on for way too long, and I wish they had spent more time developing the characters. I have the least to say about Lopen Ocho. The action's really cool, but I never really cared for the characters much, which is pretty important since it's really more story-based than all the others. However, this concept does have a ton of potential. Gets bonus points for not feeling the need to wrap up by the end. Number 6, The Duel. Don't hate me, this episode is amazing stylistically, and a great first episode. The creativity is clearly through the roof in terms of concept and visuals, but it falls a little short in terms of characters for me. It has a very cool reveal at the end, but because of that, it holds its cards very close to its chest in terms of who the main character is, and it does suffer. My focus just sort of drifted because I didn't really care much for him. The cost of having a silent and stoic protagonist in a short, I guess. But again, the sheer creativity makes it very hard to argue that this is anything else than a wonderful intro to the series. I really don't dislike any of these. Number 5, Tatooine Rhapsody. So much fun and so very sweet. This placement may seem odd because it's a little nothing compared to the insane things going on in the rest of these episodes, but I'm just in love with this happy little tale about some awesome rockers. Fighting is sort of the go-to in this show, so this was a nice change of pace. Number 4, The Twins. The first episode that really blew my mind. It might have my favorite visual style of any episode, and the concept is just so much fun. I mean, twins split between the dark and light side, just say less, take my money. However, the actual conflict is sort of whatever, but the action is just so cool that I could watch this one on repeat. The emotional conflict, to be clear. Number 3, Toby. This is exactly what I want out of Visions, an exciting concept we've never gotten before with surprisingly strong characters and a gorgeous final fight. A robot Jedi child raises a lot of questions about the power of the Force, even though I know these are pretty much non-canon, and Toby is just so adorable. This one is just easy to love. Number 2, The Elder. Probably the most normal of all the episodes, but that is not a complaint, because it does it really well. Surprisingly, I got really attached to both the Jedi, and I enjoyed the monologue at the end about the overwhelming power of time. It's a clear message. Plus, I just love how the Padawan's name is Dan. Like, multiple times in this show, they'll just give a Jedi a really normal name, and I think it's just hilarious. I guess it makes sense, but like, in a universe with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, we have Ethan, the Jedi. But anyway, the action is awesome. Honestly, that's a given for all of these. Visions really nails the lightsaber fights every time, but the mystery is also very strong with this one. And to number 1, we have The Ninth Jedi. The longest of all the episodes, but man does it earn that runtime. Immediately likable characters, exciting action, and for sure the best twist in the whole show. And it's surprisingly violent in the best possible way. Usually the few times we do get a slaughter is the Jedi who are on the wrong side of it, which isn't as fun. Placing the episodes in this separate timeline that's non-canon frees it up to give us something new and spectacular, which is what Visions does best. I'm sorry if I was overly harsh on some of these episodes. Just know that I adore all of these genuinely, and I think this is the path that Star Wars needs to go in.